What's up, everybody? Hey, it's Carly, your hostess with the mostest of the shit show, where I have a guest and I ask them a shitload of questions about one of the shit shows that has happened in their life so that you can learn from them how their journey was with their highs, lows, rock bottom, and how they triumphed in the end. Today, I am so excited to have a new friend of mine, Andrea Rappaport, who is also known as on Instagram as Andrea Doesn't Give a Duck. Andrea, we are ready for you now. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. My
Hello.
friend. Yes. Thank you so much for taking a little bit of your day away from your super important tasks of the day to spend with us.
For validating how important my day is.
I'm not done validating. Okay. Andrea Rappaport is a comedian / social media personality, and the biggest of all, one of the Real Housewives of Instagram.
Legit.
Seriously. I cannot believe I have you on my show, girl. Like, I'm so excited.
Honestly, I can't believe I'm here. I would never do something so low budget, but I'm
right. Hey.
It was an off day. So.
We all start somewhere, right? That's hashtag.
Be honored.
Thank you. Okay, today I really want to hear from you. Mm-hmm. There is a shit show going on. That went on in the past. That sounded like it went on for the journey of it went on for a few years. Yeah. And it started when you were younger and when you were kind of learning about we're all learning about ourselves even now. Like, we're always learning about ourselves. 40s, I'm 45, so that's why I can say 40s.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, you're not there yet. No, you're still in your 20s. So True. What shit show comes to mind when I say shit show? Because I really want the viewers to learn how you got rid of your wrinkles. And Botox. That's key. That's
so happy to be here.
Yes.
Oh, now I'm sad.
So this is something like when you mentioned the hashtag metoo movement.
Uh-huh.
I know that peaked in October last year. However, it is forever going on. I still feel like that's something that's super important that still viewers can learn from and want to hear your story.
Right.
So just share your whole life. We have 30 minutes. Go.
Okay. So, yeah, what's so funny about that hashtag MeToo movement is
Both.
that I think there is this sense that we feel like now we can't say that anymore. Like, oh, like that hashtag is done. Like, if you say it now, it's like, oh, really? You too? Like, what happened to you? And that, first of all, sucks because we have been, I would venture to say that almost every single woman has had her moment of being mistreated for no other reason than she's a woman, right? Like we've had, and even if you don't recognize the moment, you think hard enough and then you find it.
Very true.
What's interesting is what you mentioned before was something that happened when I was younger, when I was still learning about myself. And it's exactly right. So I grew up performing. I grew up performing in musical theater. I went to the high school for performing arts. I went to a conservatory. I then went to study just comedy at a special place for that. And after that time, I was in my early to mid 20s. I was working with a company that did musical sketch comedy. And the person that I was working for brought me into this ensemble in sort of like a random way, which should have been a red flag at the time, meaning typically when you join a group, like everybody in the ensemble approves of a new cast member and so on and so forth. And that didn't happen with me. Like I was just randomly brought into the group because the director liked me. And I couldn't figure out why nobody else in the cast liked me, like, but nobody really wanted to talk to me. I was the outsider, and I couldn't figure out why.
Huh.
And then when the lead of the show was out for a weekend, instead of following protocol and putting like the next person in line to go on for her, the director put me in her spot, which was also like another, like, why did that happen? Looking back on it, at the time, because I was 23, I was like, this is great. Like, I'm going on as a lead. I had no idea what else was happening behind the scenes. Around that same time, the director had asked me to attend a gala with him in which he was being honored for some achievement, and he had just gone through a breakup and didn't have his date, yada yada yada. Would you do me a favor as a friend? Will you be my date? And I said yes. And when that evening did not turn out the way that he had hoped or anticipated, everything changed. Meaning the next week I was fired from the show, and I was told that it was because I wasn't good enough. I was told that I was too green, and that I wasn't ready to be in such a prestigious show, and blah blah blah. At the same time that was happening, I was up for something on a larger level with a different company that this person had connections to, and his ego was so bruised that he had basically sort of slandered my name to other, I don't want to say slandered my name. It's so funny now because like we're recording something, I'm like thinking like I have to be very careful with my words. And those of you who know me know that like, Andrea, you are just, it's just like verbal diarrhea all the time.
Yeah. Go.
But I'm working on it, people. Hashtag boundaries. So slander, no, not slander, just said some things to put the bug in these people's ears that I was not good enough.
Okay.
And that brought my career to a screeching halt. So fast forward more than a decade later, we're talking like 12, 13 years later, I actually realized what had happened. I went for about 13 years thinking that I'm not performing because I'm really not good enough. Instead of, no, Andrea, that guy was a dick. What happened was this man was actually publicly called out for doing this to a ton of women, to the point where there was an article published about him.
When did that come out?
Around the time of this movement, around the time of the metoo movement, because it was obviously connected to that. So like in the fall, the article out, and a friend of mine forwarded it to me. And I remember I'm in my bedroom right now, and I was lying like right here in bed reading this article, and it just broke down. It's one of the moments where it's like you are so overwhelmed with like the truth. And I can't, like, even now, I'm never at a loss for words, but I literally, like, I just cried and cried. My husband was asking me what was wrong, and it took me several like minutes to be able to form. I had never even told him this story. He had no idea that this ever happened, because to me, it was just like a moment of like failure, you know, like, and whenever people ask me like, Andrea, like, it's funny, you went to school for this, you did that, like, you do all these things, and like, why is it now that you own a makeup services company and you're not performing? And I always had a different excuse, like, oh, well, I had kids, or oh, like, oh, I still perform, I still do things. And it wasn't until that moment where I read that so many other women had called this man out on what he had done to them that I realized, like, it was like instant, like it just all came flooding back. And I'm like, well, that's why. So the shit, though, is allowing someone else to dictate your worth. That's the shittiest show that you can be a cast member on, you know?
Did you tell anybody, like, after whatever he expected was going to happen and didn't happen? Like, did you? Yes,
there was one other girl in the cast who was actually nice to me. And she saw what was happening because it had happened to her. And she was not let go from the cast for whatever reason. I think he didn't see her as a threat. I don't No, actually, I don't really know. I don't know. She was not released from the cast when, oh, I know why. Their situation was totally different. She did not reject him.
Okay.
That's what happened. So his ego wasn't bruised. This is so weird. Like, I don't know if anyone else has gone through this, and I'm sure people have as they come forward with their stories, but I actually can feel my heart racing right now because this is the first time that I've ever talked about it publicly. And even though you know that everything that you're saying is true, you still feel nervous. Like, part of me right now, and this is part that's so fucked up, is I'm thinking, like, am I going to get in trouble? Like, isn't that weird though?
It's
like, I'm thinking, is this going to come back to bite me? And as I was like hearing myself say that, I'm like, are you nuts? You didn't do anything wrong, but that's how long it sticks with you.
Yeah. All these years.
So there was one girl that I did talk about it at the time, but you know, I was young and she was young, and there was no call to action, if you will, about it. It was like, well, yeah, this happened. Well, anyway, you know, and
okay, so you didn't like internalize it, like, oh my God, I have to keep this secret. So, like, is that what I'm hearing?
No, there was shame in not being a good enough performer, because that's what I really believed it was about. The whole other story about him having his ego bruised because I didn't give him what he wanted on another level didn't even really hit. It was just about it. Like, it was kind of touched on with this other woman that, like, yeah, something weird happened the other night, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, oh, you dodged a bullet, blah, blah, blah. But then I just wasn't mature enough to put it all together. I hadn't emotionally matured. That's how words work. Where where it all made sense.
Yeah.
These were all like isolated incidents to me, and not like, no, Andrea, like, there's a bigger.
So then afterwards, you mentioned red flags, like you didn't pick up on red flags, which you would have seen, or which maybe you didn't know what red flags were when you were 23. Like, something felt weird and something just kind of felt off, but
I did not realize that the people in the cast were not warming up to me, because they're like, why the hell was she shoved in this group? And they probably thought, here comes the next one.
Yeah.
Here comes the next one he's bringing in. And, you know, I didn't see it. And you can't blame yourself for not seeing that red flag. But looking back on it, you're like, oh, that's why.
So did it all come back when you read that article? Like, then did you start to put all the pieces together about almost like the red flags and everything?
Like, almost immediately. Literally, like, in one night. Like, it was all just like, oh my God. Oh. You know, and then yeah.
Are you normally a crier?
Yes.
Okay.
Super. I'm very, very, very emotional. And I think a lot of us funny girls are. I would venture to say that I mean, a lot of the ones that I know are. We're pretty, we have those extremes. Like, if you can tap into that one side of you, you can probably tap into the other. I used to use my humor as my shield. I used to, as I tell my therapist, I grew up notoriously fine. It was always fine. There was never a problem. I just joked. I just blew everything off. Everything was a joke. And now I'm proud to say that I don't do that as much. I can still feel that that's my go-to, and that's my comfy place. But it sure does feel a lot better when you're just being funny to be funny and not to cover up anything. Yeah. Or even if you say, like, I'm going to joke about this right now because I need to. I mean, and I will, and I do that. And I'll tell people, like, I'm joking around right now because I'm not prepared to fall apart. And I feel like that's at least admitting that there's stuff going on.
I love that vulnerability. I love that. Like,
love that vulnerability.
I do. I love the big V.
Yeah, the big V. Yeah.
That word is kind of used a lot recently, but what other word can you use? I mean, just being vulnerable, especially like an audience like Instagram or YouTube or whatever,
Yeah.
that's what people want to see.
There's not a lot of authenticity. No, that's not true. There's not a lot of like authentic vulnerability that goes on social media. There's a lot of, I think everybody wants to, and I think it's a real scary thing to do. And I think that there's a difference. You being vulnerable doesn't mean that you have to always look like a disaster on Instagram. And I think that there are a lot of people who think that it's like it's either this or that, meaning you either post polished images of yourself where it looks like you have a great life when you don't, or you always look like, hey, it's just,
right.
And I think that's a bunch of BS. I think that you can be authentic and say, yeah, here's a photo shoot I did where I, had my hair and makeup done and had a professional photographer and lighting and this and that, but this is why I did it. And then you post a picture of you without all that stuff. I also think that you don't have to show the stripped down version of yourself to be authentic.
That's a mic drop statement. Boom.
But it's true.
Yeah.
You can post a beautiful image of yourself and still tell the truth. And I also think that I like how I touched we're going to get.
Yes. We're going to do heart to heart. Yes.
Let me tell you, I think there's nothing wrong with being beautiful. I think there's nothing wrong with people being pretty. And I think there's nothing wrong with if you're a good looking person and you have a beautiful home and you worked hard to create that and you want to post that and talk about that on Instagram, do it. That's great. We're not here to make fun of people who have perfect lives. And we're not here to make fun of the people who are the token hashtag hot mess mom and talk about their stuff. My thing is just blending all of that together.
Yes.
Because that's who I am. And I think that that's the thing that I think that more people are starting to do on their social media channels is really honing in on who are you and what's your message, and don't pay attention to what everyone else is doing. It doesn't matter. That's what they're doing. Just do what you're doing. And
just do you, boo. Just do you, boo.
Just do you, boo.
That's right. Okay, so in your shit show that you just talked about, was there, and it doesn't have to be a rock bottom that was while you were in that group performing under that director, was there just from this, until you read the article, or even including that, was there a rock bottom for you during this?
You know what? So more than one, but I mentioned that I co-own a makeup services company. And I remember feeling so uncomfortable when people referred to me as a makeup artist. And I thought and I'm like, why does that make me cringe? And then I thought, you know what? I think that it's because I want to be referred to as a business owner and not a makeup artist. And my business partner and I both agreed, we kind of feel like we're more like business owners and not just makeup artists. Makeup artists kind of felt like a this, and we wanted to feel like a this. So then we went with that for a while, and that felt better. But then I still felt like there was a hole. And then when I started to do this and I started talking, it was like I almost reached a weird bottom by realizing that I had ignored that gift that I have for so long, that gift to just make people laugh, which I think not everybody can do. And I think a lot of people feel like they can't refer to themselves as a funny person because that makes them sound like an asshole. And I think that's stupid. I think there's nothing wrong with knowing that you're funny. Yeah, I know that I'm funny.
Yeah.
Call me conceited. I don't
Woohoo!
I know that I'm a funny person. I know that. I also know that I don't fall into the category of funny but unfortunate looking. No.
Oh, yeah.
I paid a lot of money to look this way. No.
That's
but
right.
I mean, I think that's another thing. People feel like, oh, well, if you can't be the funny girl because you don't look like the funny girl.
Right.
And that's all that shit. You just have to. I can't help that I look like a model, and that's what I want to talk about.
Okay.
That's my shit show.
I just want to give you a hug.
It's just so hard to be so pretty.
I'm hugging.
But I wasn't going No, but like it's just like it's these labels and there's these boxes we all try to fit in, and it's
Yes, you can't be pretty and funny at the same time.
Yeah, and it's like,
Yeah,
oh, well, are you a mom or are you a this or are you a? And it's just
that's bullshit. It's everything. It's all the above and then some.
We all have it, but that was a rock bottom moment. Not to mention my crushing anxiety that I think was coming out for more than one reason. But when I started talking about it,
Mm-hmm.
and when I started being open about the fact that I was struggling big time,
Mm-hmm.
and feeling like I was not really doing a good job at holding it together. Like a lot of people have anxiety, but like can cope.
Right.
And I was at a point where I wasn't coping.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you have multiple ER visits in a month to get fluids through an IV and drugs so that you stop trembling and vomiting, you're probably not coping. No. And I was at that point, and for a while, longer than I should have been. And, and something about like that is a rock bottom, but you had to get there in order to realize what's going on. Mm-hmm. And that's what I said, like, out of the ashes of my anxiety and misery, like, came this awesome platform, this place where we can be funny and talk about real stuff and show people that you're not just one thing. Like there's multiple, right. We all have different facets.
Well, it's so
going somewhere in my mind, and then I totally like.
Oh no! Most of my shit doesn't go anywhere, but
you were like, actually, it was going nowhere from the beginning. So.
No, no, because we talked about anxiety before, but that's so. Oh my God! Yeah, you're the only one that struggles with or has dealt with anxiety ever. Like, okay, no, like, I've never been in the ER like that. You win a trophy for that shit. Yeah, that's a struggle bus in itself.
But you could have gone to the ER. Maybe I'm just the one who went. Like your anxiety, that's the other thing. Is I don't think like it's not a competition. Like who had it worse? I mean, if it was a competition, I did win, just for the record. But
yes,
like anyone who struggles with anxiety has that feeling of I'm about to crawl out of my skin. Mm-hmm. And I don't know about you, but my anxiety is always like an emotional outburst. Like, do you have that side? Meaning that I don't just have a panic attack where I'm like, whoa, I'm shaking. I got, like mine's always uncontrollable crying, uncontrollable. Like it is just an emotional exorcism. And like, yes, I'm shaking and I'm pacing. I never feel like I'm going to die. I never have that kind of stuff going on. Like I will physically tremble, my teeth will chatter. A lot of times I'm physically sick because I think there's so much happening internally that my body's just like, all just hell breaks loose. But there's always sobbing involved.
I can't say that I sob, no. But I do wake up from like in the middle of the night with anxiety attack, and then I'm pacing. I'm like, am I going to puke? Am I not going to puke? My heart's racing. Yeah, heart palpitations. But that's.
And what do you do? Like, what's your plan? Like, what's your protocol like when that happens to you?
So when that happens, I followed this gal. Her name is Brooke Castillo. She coaches, life coaches. She has this technique where you name it. Like, so when I'm during it, I say, okay, what am I feeling? Okay, I'm feeling nauseous. I'm feeling, like out of control. I'm feeling like my heart's going to jump out of my throat. Like, so I name it. And then there's never any fucking reason. I wake up in the middle of the night. There's no dream. There's nothing. Like, there's nothing I can pinpoint.
Yeah, but there is. You're just not aware of it in that moment.
True. Yes. So I know that mine don't usually last longer than 10 to 15 minutes.
Which is a very, like, traditional, like, that's,
Yeah.
Now, are you fine going through that alone, or do you feel a need? Like, do you
I
want
want to go through it alone.
You do. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Because I feel so out of control. I don't want to spread. I don't want that to be contagious to other people. No, it's really just because I want to deal with it on my own.
Okay. So you don't bring anybody else into it. Like, you don't feel like I need help right now.
Nope. Get the fuck away from me. I'm going to deal with this myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hateful.
Right. The anger comes out and throwing shit. Ah! Yeah. Okay. Hi, bye. Where'd you go? Hi. And we're back.
Somebody called me. I'm sorry. I forgot to hit not disturb.
Oh, somebody called you. You're so popular.
Like, really?
It's your next gig for Real Housewives of Instagram. That's it.
Definitely. It was Andy Cohen. He was like, stop using my name.
Sweet. Okay. So just so we can wrap this up, so you can be on What Happens Next, Watch What Happens live. Yes. Yeah. And I will be in the background with my corn dog. Yeah. What do you feel like you learned about yourself or learned through the process? Like, I like to go through like learning lessons and what did you learn, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like that makes it a full circle story, but we always learn shit about ourselves that I feel like we didn't know before, or that was always there, but just kind of came out. We're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
What did you learn about yourself through that episode?
Well, I learned that I am enough. I learned that I could be very easily influenced by what other people think, and I learned that that's something that I'm always going to have to work on, because as much as you say, like, I determine my future and no one can define me except myself, we all know that that's a bunch of bullshit, because we let other people define us all the time.
Yep.
I realized how codependent I am. And I realized after like years of telling people, like, I am not codependent. How dare you say I'm codependent? I don't care what you think. I don't care what you think. Oh my God, are you mad at me? Are you mad at me? Oh my God. And I would like be up at night thinking, she's mad at me, bitch, mad at me. I'm like,
you say it in that voice too?
Usually it's in a muted voice. Yeah, I typically, yeah. No, but I realized there's a certain like release that comes with like saying the thing that you have not wanted to admit to for so long, right? You're like, I am codependent. I am incredibly codependent and I am working on it. Boom. So I learned that there's so many positive and negative labels that I do have, and that everything is a work in progress. And just because you've gone through some things that are less than pleasant, it doesn't mean that your life is going to be less than pleasant. It just means that it adds more to like the fabric of who you are.
Oh, that was gorgeous. That was beautiful. By the way, I just learned that I'm codependent too.
Oh my God.
With my son. I know.
I still let my 4-year-old fall asleep with me at night because I don't want him to be upset with me when I tell him he needs to go to his room.
Okay, it's sharing time. Sharing time. Okay. Yeah. So my 16-year-old, yes. I basically give him whatever he wants because I feel like such a shitty mom for when he was a toddler because I was gone so much. I traveled so much for my job. And so I want to keep that codependency going. So I just keep giving him whatever he wants because of my guilt. Bam.
Totally hear that. Totally hear that. Yeah, we've all got, I mean, my kids are so young. My kids are 4 and 2. So I haven't had a ton of time to fuck them up. Right. In that way, but like, I'll get there.
Oh, you'll get there, girl.
We are well on our way. I mean, we're co-sleeping for sobbing out loud.
Yes. Love.
But
yes. Yes.
Oh, you're 12? That's okay. Mommy loves you.
Yes.
And I do say things to them like, you're never going to leave mommy, right? You're always going to love mommy. Mommy's your favorite. Say mommy's your favorite. Who's your favorite? Mommy, 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 mommy. And they're like,
Mm-hmm.
I want daddy. No, you don't.
Nope. You can stay sleeping in my bed as long as you never move out, okay?
Right? But mommy will love you forever and ever and ever and ever. You know?
Yep. Codependency is so awesome. Yeah, I didn't know what I was going to say, so I just fucked it up.
I didn't know either. That's why I didn't join in, because I was like, do I harmonize? Do I just let her go?
Yeah, do I just let her
real
fucking
shit show?
sing like a baboon? Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So
thank you, my dear.
This has been really healing.
I'm so glad. This is probably the most serious that you've ever been in a long time, right?
Most likely.
But
Most likely. Can we
you're
tell
gonna help
now?
No, you're gonna help a lot of people though with your story.
Hope not.
I mean, I'm growing followers like nobody's business. So there's going to be more and more people that they're going to be like, oh my gosh, Andrea's story was so inspiring.
Seriously, I hope all of your subscribers really take away how many people?
31 on my YouTube.
I hope that 31 people are forever changed because of this.
Yes.
And if I don't get 31 more followers from this, then I'm coming after all of them.
Do. Yeah.
Down.
Threaten them, girl. Okay.
That's how I got to where I am.
I know. It's all threats and hiring hitmen.
Threats and underwire.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to put down below where people can find you. So I already know your Instagram handle.
My physical address.
No, where can be? It is,
Hi, I believe that this is where Andrea doesn't give a duck lives.
Yes. Okay, perfect. What's your website so I can put it down below?
www.andreadoesn'tgiveaduck.com. Boom.
YMCA. Okay.
Oh my God. What's that at? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Andrea Doesn't Give a Duck on Instagram and Facebook, and Andrea Doesn't Give a Duck on YouTube.
God, look at that. Your publicist is the bomb.
She's going to be like, wow, Andrea.
Yes. Wow. Yes. So awesome. Okay.
And if you're
thanks, love.
Check out the Real Housewives of Instagram.
Yes, Real Housewives. That's on your YouTube channel.
It is on my YouTube channel. You can find that. There's a link to that on my Instagram profile.
And your bio.
Link
in the bio. Link in the bio. Okay. Bio. Thanks, girlfriend.
Thank you.
I so appreciate it.
I so appreciate you.